Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome you, dear President, dear Volodimir. It's always a pleasure to welcome you here in Brussels. You will have the occasion once again to address the European Council. This is important. We have the impression that the last week we've been working very hard together to support Ukraine, and we are in a position to make some positive announcements. First, we have the occasion today to sign some additional bilateral agreements, security agreements with Ukraine. It's very important so that we can give the message that we intend to support Ukraine for as long as it takes. We want to be operational, we want to be concrete. Second point, we remember that we made an important decision when you decided to apply to become an EU member, and then when we decided to grant the candidate status. It's very good that a few days ago we have been in a position to say yes and to start the negotiation talks with Ukraine. This is an additional step, and it is showing the firm determination of you personally. It is showing your leadership, but also the political will of the people of Ukraine to join the EU and to put in place the reforms that are extremely important. The third point is more support for Ukraine, more military support, but also more financial support. And remember that we had decided to target the frozen assets, especially the revenues of the frozen assets. We made important decisions at the EU level. This is very important because it means that in the weeks and months to come, the first disbursement will be concrete, will be effective. But we are also working with our G7 partners to provide an additional package of 50 billion euros. I think this is extremely important so that we give the signal that we are not intimidated by Russia, that we are absolutely motivated, determined, because we know that if the Ukrainians are fighting to defend their future, your future, the future of your children, if you are fighting to defend your land, you are also fighting to defend our common values, our common dreams for more peace, more prosperity, more security. And I commend your leadership in this peace summit that took place in Switzerland. It was very important to rally the international community to express our support for the values of the UN Charter, especially the territorial integrity and the sovereignty of Ukraine. You know, Volodymyr, that you are here at home. We want to support you, and once again, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you very much. Morning, Mr. President, dear Charles. Thank you for the invitation. I think you said everything which is very important for us. Mostly, you said everything. First of all, thanks to you and, of course, to all the leaders of the EU for such historic outcome. We waited for this a long period of time. Yes, and everybody, civilians and of course our heroes on the battlefield, you know that how we want to be in the EU, and now we see this strong historic step forward further, and thank you very much for this support and for this outcome, opening negotiations. It's very important for all of us, for all Ukraine, believe me. And of course we have to work on next steps. You always say that we are too quick, but we need. So we will discuss today with the leaders about it, our next steps, and of course the urgent things. Air defense, that is one. And of course all the packages, thanks to all the partners. What we had, signed it or accepted, but we need them urgently on the battlefield. These military packages. We are thankful for this decision for Russian frozen assets that we can use and can have this 50 billion euros. So that's very important, and we started to discuss. I think that the moment of some risks with some sanctions, what we see, especially with some of Russian oligarchs, you know that sanctions have been put on against these oligarchs, and it was just steps. And now we see risks that some of the sanctions are lifted, and that's why also I want to discuss with our partners. And of course I'm thankful for your participation of Peace Summit. That is very important for us, and you have to know that for today 9 more additional countries joined to communicate after summit. That is great steps, and I want to discuss with leaders our next steps. preparing for second summit. I think it's very important, not only for Ukraine, for Europe, for the world. Thank you.
First of all, congratulations on the accession talks.
Thank you so much.
And then I would like to ask you if you're concerned about France potentially cutting support to Ukraine now that they're going to have parliamentary elections.
I'm sure that everything basing on support of people, ordinary people, you know, the leaders, parties, political leaders, and governments always basing their thoughts and decisions only on society support. And that's why I hope that even if, of course, that is the decision, you know, election, that is the decision of one or another country. We can't push it and we don't want it. That's about freedom. That's, by the way, about values which we are fighting for. So, and that's why I hope that mostly countries will be on the right side of history, on our side.
Mr. President, what are your demands for peace negotiations?
We have very understandable way how to do it. And we suggest all the leaders to come to the first summit. It was very difficult to have such big volume of countries from different continents. Now we need now next steps. Next steps is to plan and to have the detailed plan of detailed steps on each crisis, what this war of Putin brought to our land. And we have to find and to prepare this plan and to put this plan on the table during months. We don't have too much time because we have a lot of wounded and dead people on the battlefield and through civilians. That's why we don't want to have this war during years. So that's why we want to prepare this joint plan, put it on the table to the second summit, second peace summit.
President Zelensky, may I ask you a question about, is there any indirect negotiation talks with Russia after the summit? Because lots of the leaders around the world says without Russia there will be no solution for the Ukraine.
I don't have any dialogue with them.
Indirectly.
In any way, I didn't have. I didn't have during this period of time. First of all, because they don't have any plan. They have only one plan, how to do this war more longer. That's their idea. But we need, and we can, because mostly countries on this side. I saw it during the first peace summit. I saw it. We heard even some skeptical countries, but their understanding of the way of life was very, very open. And they're on the right side again. Again that on the side that to stop this war. But they know that this war Putin brought to us. There are no any questions who is aggressor. So it doesn't matter for today who speak with somebody, if it's in shadow, if it's somewhere, if it's secret dialogues. It's not about us. So we want to do it openly. For us, it's very important.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Goodbye.